The Catalyst's Lab, A Day with Vikaas Sir. The morning sun streamed into the laboratory, glinting off rows of glass beakers and coiled tubes. Vikaas Sir stood at the front, his eyes bright with the excitement of a new lesson. On the desk before him sat 3 containers, a block of ice, a flask of shimmering liquid, and a jar catching the invisible vapors of dry ice. "Everything you see, touch, and breathe is matter," he began, gesturing to the 3 different states. "Whether it is a solid, liquid, or gas, chemistry is the language that describes it all." A student named Alara raised her hand, pointing to a wash bottle labeled distilled water. "Is that the same as what we drink?" she asked. Vikaas Sir smiled and shook his head. "In chemistry, we look for pure substances. This distilled water contains only H2O molecules, no minerals, no salts, no impurities. It is a single substance, unlike the tap water at home, which is a complex mixture of many things." Alara opened her notebook to a fresh page. "If it's just H2O, what is its weight on a molecular level?" she wondered aloud. She began the calculation Vikaas Sir had taught her. 2 atoms of hydrogen, each with an atomic mass of 1, and 1 atom of oxygen with a mass of 16. She scribbled the numbers. 2, 1, plus 16. "The molecular mass of water is 18 atomic mass units," she exclaimed, her pen hovering over the paper in triumph. Vikaas Sir tapped a glass thermometer resting in a beaker of room temperature water. "The scale says 25 degrees Celsius, he noted. "But in the world of gas laws and high-level chemistry, we often use the Kelvin scale. To find the absolute temperature, we simply add 273.15 to our Celsius reading." He wrote the conversion on the chalkboard, showing how 25 degrees Celsius transformed into 298.15 K. Next, Vikaas Sir pulled a shimmering silver coin from his pocket. "Symbols are our shorthand," he explained. "We don't write silver every time. We use ag from the Latin argentum." He showed Alara how symbols combine to form chemical formulas, like silver 1 nitrate. Alara marveled at how a few letters and numbers could describe exactly what a substance was made of, regardless of where in the world you were. Alara moved to the balance scale for an experiment. She carefully mixed 2 clear solutions in a sealed flask. A white, cloudy precipitate formed instantly, a chemical reaction. She checked the digital readout of the scale. The mass was exactly the same as before the reaction. "The law of conservation of mass," she whispered. "Matter isn't created or destroyed, it just changes its clothes." Vikaas Sir pointed to a large, colorful poster of an atom on the wall. He pointed past the orbiting electrons to the very center. "For a long time, we only knew about protons and electrons," he told the class. "It wasn't until 1932 that James Chadwick discovered the neutron, the neutral particle hidden in the nucleus. It changed everything we knew about the weight and stability of the atom." "What happens when an atom isn't neutral?" Alara asked, looking at a diagram of magnesium. Vikaas Sir explained that magnesium has 2 valence electrons in its outermost shell that it loves to give away. When it loses those 2 negative charges, it becomes an ion, Mg2+. Alara drew the ion in her notes, realizing that the 2+ meant the atom was now a positively charged traveler, ready to bond. "But atoms can be even more diverse," Vikaas Sir added, leaning over Alara's shoulder. "Sometimes atoms of the same element have different numbers of neutrons. We call these isotopes. They have the same chemical personality, but different physical weights." He showed her how carbon-12 and carbon-14 were like siblings, same family, but one was just a little heavier than the other. As the bell rang, the lab was filled with the sound of chairs scraping and notebooks closing. Vikaas Sir stood by the door, waving goodbye. "Remember," he called out, "chemistry isn't just a subject in a book. It's the silver in your pocket, the water in your glass, and the very atoms that make you who you are." Alara walked out, seeing the world not just as objects, but as a beautiful, reacting masterpiece.